Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I thought I would do something a little bit different these next few episodes. So, as you know, the Snyder cut of the infamous Justice League is about to premiere on the 18th. Now, I don't have the luxury of seeing it early like most people, at least not yet. But I thought we can do something a little bit interesting. I thought that I would at least do courtesy and review the first two films, since this is now confirmed as the Snyderverse type of trilogy. So I thought I would start reviewing Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice, leading up to the now Snyder cut of the Justice League. So this video I'm going to be covering Man of Steel, and then the next one after that I'm going to be doing Dawn of Justice. So kind of like some sort of like road to Justice League, if you will. Without further ado, let's get into it. Man of Steel is directed by Zack Snyder, and it's pretty much his own take on the superhero. It's more so like an origin story. We start off with Krypton, and seeing Jor-El and all of the political stuff that's going on with up there on that planet. And then we start to actually understand where Superman gets his powers. And then from then on, we go into, essentially the origin story of Superman's life from like a kid all the way up to now. Look, you can put me in the camp of people who are fans of this movie. I thought this film was actually pretty darn fantastic. In fact, I'm going to go on record to say, controversially, as has been said before, it's probably the best Superman film we've ever had. But let me explain. First off, the Krypton opening I thought was pretty well done. It's something that I didn't think we've ever seen before in the other Superman films. We have Jor-El, played by Russell Crowe, being present in his son's birth, Kal-El, and it's been said that Kal-El's birth has been the first natural birth in centuries. So already, first off the bat, we know that this baby is like, something very, very important. Like, he's like a national treasure, of babies, like the Jesus Christ or something. I don't know. But we established that he's something of importance. And so they've been harvesting resources to where it's become a detriment to the planet. And I just want to say, man, I love this take that, the film goes into as far as like the lore of it all. Like, you start to really understand certain things and certain tropes about Krypton that I thought was very creative. You start to get little subtleties of the nuances of the lore and understand how political it is. We also meet General Zod, played by Shannon, and and that guy is quite intimidating. He just gives such a stoic and very menacing take on this character. It's actually really fascinating. Right off the bat, he's just in here killing people. Like, he blasts in and starts killing off government officials. It's great. It's great. You start to kind of see some of the views of the city. How it's built, and man, props to the CGI department. Like, there was so many ways that opening could have been just a big CGI funk fest with just bad green screen, all these animations kind of going all over the place. And I have to say, it's actually done pretty well. Henry Cavill plays Kal-El / Superman, and look, I don't care what nobody says. I do not care what nobody says, and I love my man Christopher Reeves. I do, but I don't care what nobody says. Henry Cavill is the perfect Superman. That is the most perfect casting you can ever get. He encapsulates everything. He has the looks. He has the little dingling, sexy looking hair. He has the muscles. He has the abs. He has, the nice, like when you look at his face, he looks like somebody's savior. And I think that's what makes this version of Superman work. It's a different, keep in mind, this is a very different take on Superman. It's supposed to be this dark and more grounded take, this much more human take. And you can tell it's very, very much inspired by Christopher Nolan's, take on Batman. But for some reason, Henry Cavill does it for me. Like, this is the Superman that we all need, and he needs to come back as Superman. I don't care what nobody says. This is the best Superman we've ever had. What I also like, too, about the film is that it really humanizes Superman in a way that we've never seen before. Like, right off the bat, when he's a kid, you start to see that, his ability to have all these powers and him knowing that he has all these powers makes things very uncomfortable for him. He gets this brain surge of all of these things happening to him, and then for him to just sort of deal with it on his own as a young child, and then seeing how his life is like in school and the bullying and stuff like that. There's no way that I should be able to relate to that, but for some reason I do. There's just something about Zack Snyder's directing that, just as a human being just watching this, there's ways to relate to this character that you shouldn't be before. It's like as if he's a special ed kid. Like, he's this guy with special abilities that nobody can understand, and you can't help but feel for him. Superman is all around, like I said, he's like the next Jesus. He's pretty much perfect at this point. And it's really hard to really show any kind of flaw with Superman. And I thought what was really smart about the film's way of showing its journey was, showing that you're in a world that's imperfect and you're the only perfect person in this world. How do you live your life knowing that you're perfect? Knowing that you have superhuman abilities. And I thought the way they went about it was genius, which was, this guy can't fit in anywhere. This guy cannot fit in if his life depended on it. He has to go from place to place, trying to live normally. And he has this knack of just, saving people with these superhuman abilities. And because the world isn't ready for that kind of reality, he's the one that has to banish himself to live peacefully. And I thought that was that was a genius take on, trying to describe Superman. I don't think people really appreciate the nomad version of Superman. Clark Kent is kind of like walking through life trying to establish himself as a well-to-do, hardworking citizen. And so one begs the question, do you hide these powers because, the world isn't ready for you? Or do you learn to trust humanity and just, take a leap of faith? Also, like that it's sort of like a Superman in training kind of film as well. Like, Superman, the minute he dons his cape and stuff like that, he is not, he's all powerful, but this guy has no, you can see he has no experience. Like, he's destroying everything. The guy is, blowing things up. Like you can see that he doesn't really have control of his power. I think my favorite sequence though was the fight sequence. He just starts flying in, and you see him trying, and man, it was just so fucking epic to just kind of see Superman just fly through the air. And that score, oh my god! Can we talk about the score for a second? There's a reason why Hans Zimmer is like legendary. This dude's score is just top notch. 10 out of 10 beyond anything. Like, those drums, man, are his trademark for sure. But there is something about that score that is so uplifting that just makes you want to wake up in the morning and do 1,000 push-ups on the floor and then march right straight to the gym. Don't listen to the score in your car. Don't do it, because you're going to want to go 170 miles an hour. Like, I was driving in the car listening to the score just because it's so amazing. And man, I almost got caught speeding. Like, it's that good. And that Superman theme. Whew, that Superman theme was just... Also, the best thing about this film, I think, is the nuance that it tries to take with it. When they talk about the S on his chest, we've all known that it means Superman. But in this sort of take on Superman, in this much more grounded and human take on Superman, calling it an S that stands for Superman would be corny as shit. It just would be, and we all know this. I like their take on it being that it's not an S. Like, it doesn't stand for Superman. That's the name that we give him, but he has a real name, and that symbol doesn't mean anything that you guys think. On my world, it means hope. It means hope, and I thought that was a genius way of just showing of representing that emblem. Adding a little bit of a layer, to him and and his people of Krypton. The fight scenes in here too are just so big. And I'm gonna say this too, because I know there was a lot of gripes about them saying there was so much death in this movie, like there was so much destruction and things like that. No shit. You have a god on Earth combating all of these other enemies. It's not gonna be pretty. And I don't understand how people can just think like that. I think the destruction makes sense. I think all of the chaos and all of the intense fighting and all of the casualties, you know, no fault of Superman. I mean, maybe they are his fault, but you know, it's all an accident. I think all of them makes sense, seeing as how that, you know, we're talking about gods on Earth fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, there's gonna be casualties, and I don't see any other way you could do it. I mean, especially with this kind of film, like this tone of a film, you know, it already introduces itself as a darker take on the Superman character. So, you know, seeing casualties and stuff like that didn't really bother me all that much. It actually made all the sense in the world. The parts in there where all the chaos is happening in Metropolis, and then you actually see the perspective of Perry and his associates kind of running through the streets, you know, and one of the lady, I think the female character, was about to lose her life and stuff like that, and him holding her hand and seeing the emotions on everybody else's faces. I thought that was really, really powerful. I thought that was really, really powerful. It definitely did heighten the stakes a little bit in this film. Now I gotta talk about the cast. I already talked about Henry Cavill and Michael Shannon, you know, for a little bit, but I thought Amy Adams as Lois Lane was a different take. I thought she did a pretty good job. You know, they have her out there doing investigation. She's like this investigative journalist and things like that. And you know, I thought the meetup with her and Clark was cool. I did think that the romance felt, you know, a little bit rushed in some cases. You know, I mean, they had good chemistry on screen and stuff, and I did feel it. It's just, I think that in some cases it felt just a tad contrived. Just a tad contrived. I also thought Russell Crowe was really, really good in this, actually, you know, and you know, from the time of screen that he had, I thought that he definitely pulled it off, you know, as a father figure and stuff like that. I did have issues with his consciousness, though. You know, I mean, it starts to be of use later on in the film, but when his conscience comes and things like that, I don't know. I tend to not be a fan of that kind of approach. Like those ideas of his consciousness comes back or his ghost comes back, you know, in the form of a digital, you know, hologram or something. I don't know. The way the film does it didn't really work for me all that much. I mean, you get used to it because, you know, I just love Russell Crowe and I love his take on Jor-El's character, but you know, I was just like, okay, I'm the shadow of your father. All right, fine, whatever. I think most of the movie I was enjoying so much that it was just one of those things that I had like some gripes about. But you know, yeah. And look, I never told anybody this before in my life, okay? But I've always hated the red underwear. Like, what were they thinking? Okay, I remember the first time I saw Superman as a kid. I was like, oh, it's a guy wearing a cape and underwear. And I was actually afraid that they would try to give him some kind of modern type Calvin Klein type thing. I don't know. I just hated Superman in trousers, okay? I just did. And the fact that they got rid of that and just gave him an all blue suit with red boots and a cape, you know what I'm saying? And have like one little emblem on his navel, on his belly button. I thought it was dope. I thought it was a great idea, and it looks extraterrestrial in its own way. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was terrific. I thought it was terrific. Like that suit was badass. It was badass, man. And I don't care what nobody says. This is the best Superman I've ever seen. I think it's one of the most underrated, best Superman movies we've ever had. It's the best Superman movie of all time. Fight me. I don't care. I got hands, boy. What you gonna do? Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.75 out of 10. It's not a perfect film by any means, but for a Superman film, I think it definitely works. I think it most definitely works, man. And, oh, man, they should have had a sequel. They should have had a sequel, man. This was Superman in training. We need to see Superman encapsulate all those powers and just go full-on badass like we all know he can. But that's another video. So that's my review on Man of Steel. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you love this video, hit subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.